Here.
Scott.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Stephanie is absent and Dale is present. I'm gonna look over the agenda.
The one thing that I did see is that it's not the August 5th meeting minutes that need to be approved, it's January 6th. And then the employee manual, you guys wanted everybody to be here for that. Didn't know if you wanted to table that since Steph wasn't here, but.
I suppose since we did that last time, we can't exclude her this time because she's not here. So,
That's fine.
I guess you guys decide.
Or I could send her a message and see if there is anything that she wanted to discuss on it, and we can continue with it, but.
I'm sure this has been explained to me before, but under the bills with Griggs County, and then we approved the 1.3285 million.
You're on the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
I need a motion for the agenda still.
No, that's on, this is the bills we'd already approved that Griggs.
We were looking for approval of the agenda before we move on.
Oh, okay. I move to approve the agenda excluding the employee manual.
Motion by Mark to approve the agenda with the exception of the employee manual,
To table that.
or table it. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Scott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Barring none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'm gonna look over the January 6th meeting minutes.
We need to go back to the to the agenda, of course.
Okay.
If you're gonna do away with the employee manual, then you need to also table the Juneteenth
Juneteenth, yep,
holiday.
yep.
They're connected. We'll tie them together. That $1,328,000 is the prepaid taxes,
Oh, okay,
people that are paid
okay.
before the first year.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys need a new motion, or does Mark have to rescind that one?
I think that we didn't change the intent of the emotion.
Yeah, we did. We need to add on to it.
Okay.
So we need a new motion. We need a new motion. What's the word?
Amend the motion.
We need to amend the motion to include
Yep.
tabling the Juneteenth, because they are tied together, I would imagine.
Yeah. I'll make that motion. Or amend the motion.
Motion by Mark to amend the previous motion to include removal of the Juneteenth holiday until such time as all members are present. Is there a second?
I'll second it again.
Seconded by Scott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
What was your question on the meeting minutes, Mark?
What was this 1.3 million, but that was just early.
It's the prepaid taxes.
But why would that show up on a expense ledger side here? Isn't that what this is, what we look at here, is our, here on
Those are the bills that you guys approved
the
last meeting.
bills?
Yep.
Because those monies are paid out.
Well,
'Cause-
they've got them down here.
yeah, but those monies are paid out to entities in Griggs County. The townships get their money,
Okay, so this is the group, bill, what you're saying?
some of it gets paid in the general fund.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's held in a separate account.
Okay,
Yeah, the 1.3 million is to fund is a prepaid portion of the Griggs County budget. The rest of those are paid to individual entities in the county that we serve as the collector for.
yeah,
That we're the conduit. The Griggs
Yeah.
County is
Yep.
conduit for all taxes. So that 1.3 million goes towards the overall budget in Griggs County. So once it comes into the treasury, then it has to make the step over into this year's budget.
So then it got,
okay,
yeah.
From the bank to the checking account.
yeah, yeah.
In layman's terms, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 6th meeting.
Motion by Scott to approve the January 6th meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Do we see anything? Do you see anything in it? that
I didn't
stands
notice
out?
anything.
I didn't either. I'll second that.
Seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll look over the bills for this period.
The reason that you see a few of the balances being negative, I didn't finish putting in the budget amounts until yesterday afternoon, and that was after this report was printed, so that's why there's some negatives there. It's not that that fund is going negative, it's the budget hadn't been put in there at that point.
Interstate Power Systems wasn't too bashful about doing a service call on the generator, huh?
Yeah, we kind of, Maddie's mouth just about dropped. We had to pick that up because she was like, and I mean, they detailed it in there of what they did. I mean, they came in, they told Brian what he had to do, and then Brian had to do it. But yeah, that's.
Anybody see anything with the bills that they have a question on?
I'll make a motion to pay the vouchers as
Motion,
presented.
motion by Mark to pay the vouchers as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Scott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale votes aye. Motion carries. Boy, we're right on schedule. 2:44 and Wayne's up at 2:45. I guess there's some question about if you are still working 410s or if you were working 5 days a week or what's.
Yeah, on the 20th of December, we started working 5 8-hour days.
Okay.
But then we put in overtime
Yeah.
on those days and stuff. So,
I guess that was the concern that when you're on 410s,
yeah.
you end up and put in overtime if the weather doesn't work with the
Actually, we put in
schedule.
more overtime now because we can't quit after 8 hours,
Yeah,
3:30 in the afternoon, so.
yeah.
So this is what I've gone by, I guess. This was a resolution together. Oops, I got your paper clip. In 2011. I think it was during the disaster period when FEMA was questioning that we worked overtime on Saturdays and Sundays when we had a disaster. So they had to come up with paper that wrote about our normal work weeks and so that's why they came up with this normal work week for employees of the Griggs County Road Department varies throughout the year from April 15th to November 15th. The normal work week consists of 4 10-hour days. Did you get one, Samantha?
Mm-mm.
Monday through Thursday, 40 hours. Any work over those 40 hours is considered overtime. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is overtime. From November 16th through April 15th, normal work week is 5 8-hour days, 40 hours. Monday through Friday, any extra time over the 40 hours is overtime. Saturday and Sunday is overtime. These dates may change as determined by the Griggs County Road Superintendent, depending on the weather, and that's what we've done. Now, last year it was a good winter, so we didn't change, but this year, well, I got a little reminder from someone, and then the Christmas holiday was coming up, and that was gonna cause some confusion and stuff, so we switched over to the 5/8. We've been on 5/8 since that time.
So in the future, we're just gonna adopt this and stick by it?
Yeah, this is what we've adopted, if that's what you wanna continue with. And it worked out good, and now we've been working like crazy. And we had 2 guys that were sick with, well, 3 of us were sick with influenza for quite a few days. Gary and Brian and me. And on Sunday, the 11th of January, Jeff's 6-wheel drive quit working. Front end quit working. So then I called RDO, and they were all booked up. They didn't have any mechanics, couldn't come until Martin Luther King's holiday, the 17th. Well, that was not much we could do, but then he plowed with just the rear wheel drive. Then on Saturday, the 15th, Jake's came in from snow plowing, and here he had antifreeze running out the bottom of his maintainer. So he got inside and thawed out overnight, and then Sunday morning I came down here and helped him find the leak. There's 2 heater hoses come up the side of the block and went down towards the back of the engine, and then they come around and went back up to the cap. And one of those hoses was leaking, so then they came up on Monday and they fixed his machine too. Well, that wasn't the worst of it. There was one day on 10th, I believe, Kenny's transmission shifter locked up. So he tried taking the cover off the top, and then the spring and the ball and the bolt fell down into the transmission, and he's not a real good mechanic, so we got Gilbertsons to come up here with their wrecker. They picked the back end up of the truck and pulled it to Binford. They were able to find the pieces. They took the power takeoff cover out, and there the stuff laid, so they got it back together, and I think they put some used piece in the shifting forks on top. Got it going again by the 14th. Then Gary was sick, and he come back, and on the 14th, power takeoff shaft came off the front of the engine that turns the pump on the hydraulics. And it took out the radiator, the fins on just the fan blades. So we didn't have that truck until today. He just got it back together now. And of course, it's been drifting every other day and snowing every other night. So we got a couple bad spots up there by Binford. I guess there's bad spots all over, but I got Gilbertsons to go out there with their little cat, and they're gonna push back snowdrift there.
You know, we got permission from the landowner to push it out in, it's on the bus route
Oh,
on County Highway, County Road 3.
That-
County Road 3. Yeah, that's one of the main
That-
ones where they meet up with two buses, I think. or
Yeah, it is,
something there.
and it's,
That's Dave Iverson stuff?
Yeah,
On Dave Iverson's? Okay.
up over by D-Hoff's and then up by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Iverson's. It's $200 an hour for the cap, but I figured you could probably do it in 5-6 hours or something like that, so.
it's either that or it's gonna, we're gonna spend all winter out there every day with wind blows and stuff.
Yeah, we
It's
kinda
gotta get
guessed.
pushed, yeah.
He was out there Sunday afternoon before he can take a machine to Cooper. And of course, by Monday, it drifted some back in some again.
And it got so close to the road and so high, it's just, I mean, it'd be 10 foot deep in there if it blew much.
2 years ago, we had to go out there, we pushed,
Yeah.
took our cat out there and our payloader and our snow blower,
There used to be some trees that stopped that.
blew it out. Yeah. No, not, he said he took out some trees or something, and he thought that might have helped.
Yeah,
Some more snow drifted across there.
yeah, it got pretty deep.
It was over the hill, so.
Can he go in the field with the maintainer and make
Yeah.
any ridges or?
I talked to Lee, I said, try to push back and make some windrows to stop the
Doesn't
snow.
drift, so.
save you one windy day anyway.
Yeah,
And they do have those big snow blowers running now too, so. that
and I asked him, I said, either the snow blower or a cat or whatever, he said, well, go take a look at it, and then called back. Some of it, I think he could've took the blower and blew,
Yeah,
because he didn't have any ditch there.
They got truck mounted blowers or.
a couple of, 3 of them.
Well,
They got probably, I don't know how many horsepower engines in the back, really big. Well, it cost $1,000, but, you know, every day we have to go out with the trucks again and do what the maintainers didn't do, or do the same things over and over, and then we got townships calling in too, so.
So should we update this?
If you would like to, that'd be
Yeah,
good.
I think the only change we should make, these dates may change as determined by the Griggs County Road Superintendent and approved by the Griggs County Commission, dependent on weather conditions.
Okay,
I'd make that,
another question I have is, so we get 2 inches of snow, we go out and go over everything for 2 inches, or do we wait till Monday, or do we, sometimes you can wait and sometimes you can't, so.
Well, that's kind of discretionary, you know.
Like it's supposed to snow maybe tonight, well, we plan on going out tomorrow if it doesn't blow 40 miles an hour, but. That's another thing I had was the snow plowing policy, which says we don't go out when,
Till it's done drifting.
yeah.
Well, some years it's never
that'd
done.
be
so-
May.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, true enough.
I'm hoping for an early thaw.
February.
There are a lot of times when it's drifting, it doesn't do anything, just those few little spots, you know, you can just about
That's
run
right.
around.
You know, we can't
That's right.
really go into the townships without the townships permission,
Yeah.
I know.
so. That's what we've always. And if the buses have trouble, then they should call the townships. The township road. Some
Kinda has
townships,
to flow through who pays the bill.
yeah,
Yeah.
some townships call every time and some townships wait for, till it gets bad enough, you know, for
Yeah.
trying to save some money, so. But gladly call John every time.
I think everybody's got my number already.
your motion was that would include, say it one more time.
Right here. This last paragraph is just changed. These dates may change as determined by the Griggs County Road Superintendent and approved by the Griggs County Commission, dependent on weather conditions.
Conditions, okay. Perfect.
You wanna make any changes to this?
I don't think so. The original one said 7 till 4:30, because we used to work 9-hour days. And before that, we worked 10-hour days, and they moved us back to 8. And we start early in the morning to try to get the roads open. We got good lights, headlights now where we can go in the dark.
Oh, I know that's always been an issue before.
Yeah.
The trucks, some of them aren't so fancy, a light looks like a piece of plastic bent around in front of them, you know, but,
Some of those lights were so poor.
yeah.
But I bought these, they're spotlights, off-road spotlights. And they got them on a separate switch, and they turn them on, it just makes daytime out of the night.
LEDs.
And it's up high enough so it's above a lot of the snow.
Well, I think the bus drivers would appreciate it, the earlier the better, wouldn't they, Scott?
You can say that again.
Yeah. The thing is, we can't get to every bus stop
That's right.
at one time. And
No, no.
you know, the
No, I
time it
under-
takes the bus to go from Cooper to wherever, we
Yep.
can't get there quick enough.
Sure.
No, I understand that, that's not a, it's just that in the morning, it's, you know, what you can get done is what you can get done, you know, that's how it
Yep.
works, you know. We all understand that, it's just that it's, usually the bus drivers are the first people out there anyway, you know, the way it is.
I think they should put snowplows on all the buses.
Yeah, you bet. Talk to Lance about that one, see how that goes over.
Our guy, if it's to quit snowing at 2 in the morning, he starts,
Yeah. Yeah.
because he can't sleep.
Well, we try to do the best we can. When you got people getting sick and things breaking down and
Yeah, yeah.
Can't be everywhere at once. It's,
can't get parts and can't,
And then most of the time, the people that you hear from are the ones that move out in the country for whatever reason and don't realize it takes 3 days to open the county if everything goes well.
Yeah. That's very true.
only thing we should maybe do is take that city or village streets would be plowed. We used to plow like Hannaford and Binford. Still do Jesse. And sometimes Hannaford will ask to do also. Most of the time they do it with the pickups.
I'm still
Well, I get
looking
to
for
call
a second
Dale
to that
according to
motion.
this.
what's that?
I said I get to call Dale according to this because it says normally the weekend plowing will be done only by direction of the road superintendent and chairman of the county commission.
Oh, hell.
You're easy enough to get a hold of now. I guess. But if I've had problems like things breaking down, I don't call you guys every time.
No, just fix it, you know.
Try to get it fixed as quick as we can. Thankful we got Gary because he was able to fix that truck. It would have cost a couple $1,000s to do that. But
I think on the emergency calls, the last sentence says emergency calls will be defined as situations that arise from sickness, fire, and power outages. And there's certainly other instances that might constitute an emergency. So I think we should rephrase that. I think emergency calls will be defined as situations that threaten life, limb, or loss and damage to property, and it will be assessed on an individual basis by the county road superintendent. I'd make that a motion as an amendment to those guidelines.
You want that added to your motion?
Right here. No, this is a separate motion.
Okay, I still need a second to your previous
Oh.
motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion by John to change the wording in the emergency conditions,
No, the first motion was,
and motion by John to change the, what do we call this one? Road department hours to state that these dates may change as determined by the county road superintendent and the county commission. So we'll need a second to the road hours.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, do we have a second on the emergency conditions? Mark, you did?
Yep.
Okay, is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Barring none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
we'll write that up and Sam as a, and then have Dale sign it. So it can be added to the,
Both of them?
yeah.
Do you have these on as a Word document, or do I have to?
Huh?
Do you have these in a Word document? No. Okay. Sounds good.
Actually, they could be on the public driver, the.
Okay, it's fine. I can read
utility
it.
driver.
That last one looks like some kind of poster
Yeah.
app they use.
Probably pre-computer.
Yeah.
No cut and paste for you there. Well, it looks like the weather may start to straighten out a little bit, except for there's chance of snow coming up more next week.
Warm up a little bit so we can get a crust on this thing, so it won't blow every day.
Yep, right in my driveway.
Would it do any good, Wayne, if we, you've got a really good idea where usually our bad spots are in our county. So that I like I said, when I was on the township, we used to try to get up by Johnson's and make some ridges in the field.
Yep.
If we could draw up something or a map that we could do those earlier. I know north of our place, you get over that last row of hills and all the way to Martin's is a bad spot for the townships, and
You gotta get permission from the landowner.
yeah, yep,
Because at Johnson's, they got some cover crop or something.
yeah, this year,
So we don't wanna kill that for next year.
yeah,
We put some ridges up on, by west of Bill Hazard's,
yeah,
up there, but of course on top of the hill, there's no snow.
yeah,
But then down in the valley, it got deep.
yeah.
But, put some ridges, Jeff did up there. And of
That seemed to
course,
help.
Yeah, it might have. I haven't been that way recently. But it blows so much that it fills them up, and if you're not out there cleaning them out every time it blows, pretty soon you can't get in there.
I think some of them turn into you plow your ridges as often as you would have to plow the road.
Yeah.
I know those up on where I was talking about with the township, it made it, at least they could get out.
Yeah,
You still probably had, like you say, to clean them every time you,
yeah.
But at least they were able to get out
You don't
and
get such,
block the road.
you don't get such a deep cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not a big fan of trees, but I know the soil conservation does have a program to help with drifting and those sorts of things in spots.
Yeah. But you gotta be willing to give up some land and.
That's right.
They pay you a little bit for it.
And put up with the trees when you do get them there.
So this is not on the agenda, but February 11th, that's when our bid opening is for our chip seal stuff. And so then we have to have an RFP ready for engineering services. And we have to have a board to meet together, to go through that process, take notes and whatever. And so that's all coming up pretty quick. I think I
Do we
did,
need that prior to the bid opening or after?
Well, talked to Paul and he said could be after, but you gotta have everything pretty much ready right at the time of that bid opening. But I'll have to contact with the DOT to see if their form is still the same.
Well, we have to advertise for the request for proposal.
Yeah.
And we're already past that deadline here. If
Oh.
we're gonna do it, when is it, February 3rd?
February 3rd we can do it.
Right, but we have to advertise 3 weeks
Because
prior to that.
11th is when the bid opening is.
Right, we have to advertise 3 weeks prior to that.
Already.
Yeah.
Says, going through the chip seal, 843,000, Griggs County need to borrow ahead per year in federal
Well-
funds.
We can't interview them prior to the bid opening, can we?
No,
Because that would
you
exclude.
gotta wait until the bid is open, because then it depends upon who the engineering, or who the engineer is for that. Company? No, technically the company, but engineering firms have gotta take a look at the bids.
Mm-hmm.
The project.
So we have to have an engineering firm in place in order to okay the bid. Right?
Well, you guys can okay the bid. Motion is needed, preferably this meeting or the next, to publish a request for proposals for construction engineering and determine who will be on the selection committee, typically 2 commissioners and the highway superintendent. North Dakota DOT's process will need to be followed, similar to the RFP for the 2019 CHIPS project.
So it doesn't have anything to do with the cost of the services, it's just their qualifications to perform the services. Isn't that what the,
The engineers gotta see what the cost of the project is so they can figure out the percentage.
no, but our determination isn't, we can't hire the cheapest engineering firm, it has to be
Yeah.
one that's qualified. And it's kind of a ridiculous
Yeah,
thing to do, because all engineering firms are,
not cheap.
by their nature, qualified to do.
That's correct. So it all depends on who's trying to bend the rules to their favor. The engineering firms will say that you have to hire the most qualified, but you hit it in the nose.
Well,
You meet a bare minimum of qualification, and then it goes from there, and price can be a factor in that.
no.
So it's a bare minimum, it's not the most qualified, it's a bare minimum qualified, and then all the other attributes, price, workability with the county, location to the offices to the county. But that's, depending on who's trying to push you in which direction. Well, I bid these all the time,
Yeah.
on the federal level.
I guess you can make a motion today to publish a request for proposal for RFP for construction engineering.
Yes, but I don't know if we have enough, I don't know if the time limitations, well, we'll just have to see. I think it has to be published just like any other bid proposal, 3 weeks prior, I believe.
A lot of times, he said they even do it after the bids sometimes.
Right, I know.
But how could we bid the project if they don't have a spec?
They've got the specs.
They
The
got-
state
The
is,
specs are on the state site right now.
the state has,
Draws up the specs.
or lets the bid.
The engineers made up the specs and sent the proposal to the state.
It's not we're not bidding for the design, we're bidding for the construction engineering.
Yeah. The design's already been done.
Design
The guy to
engineering,
stand out there with the stick.
yeah, the design engineering is done, the bid
Yeah.
is for the construction engineering.
A private entity that had to go through this process would walk away and say, this is so one-sided that I'm never gonna get the best deal out of this process. I want to be able to be in charge. That's what we should do. But there's so many roadblocks in the way to do that.
You gotta get the federal money, so you gotta follow the
Yeah,
federal
yeah.
guidelines.
Yeah. So we have to have a
So if
motion.
you make a motion, then I'll
To-
make sure it gets in to the DOT. And depends upon when they advertise for it. This is what it is. I think I've got the template for it. Just change the dates and
I
stuff.
remembered. There's a checklist.
Request for proposal, perform construction engineering, change the date, change the project number, seal coat and fog seal, Griggs County, whatever, several different roads. Proposals must be delivered to the office of the Griggs County Auditor by a certain date. It says April 12th. This was on the 21st. And it's a bunch of rules and regulations for them to follow. This is put in there by the state. And then there's a website where they click on
So you want a motion to ask for bids on the
Construction.
construction of a
engi-
chip seal project.
Construction engineering.
on the chip seal.
Also move.
Motion by Mark to solicit bids for construction engineering on our chip seal project. Is there a second?
Yeah, I guess I'll have to.
Seconded by John. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion?
I'd like to register my disgust in the whole process.
So-
We
what
did
I would
this
like
the
to
last
do.
time too.
Well, it's, we've been through it. It's
Yeah.
a ridiculous exercise.
Yeah, that just throws away money.
Because the engineering firms don't want to compete against each other either.
We got them to one time and then they never showed up again.
Yeah.
Because you stay away from me, I'll stay away from you, and we all end up better.
Yeah. No use undercutting my neighbor.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Is
Did you
there
do-
any other discussion? Proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Keep things running.
It's gonna warm up.
Yep.
Pardon?
It's gonna warm up. Be better.
And that alone helps.
Yeah.
Well, we only had heat up in that Benford shop.
It wasn't built to have, it wasn't built to have heat, thank
Yeah.
God.
One little room is supposed to have heat,
Yeah, it
doesn't it?
does. It's
Yeah.
nice and warm in there, but
Yeah.
it's a chunk of ice that's sitting in there.
Yeah, it'll melt.
And one other thing would be a skid steer.
To move
Chip the ice.
That chunk of ice. I got this big chunk of ice in there.
Well, we were gonna do that, but they took that 80% away from us out of that same fund, and now we only got 13,000. We can't get much of a skid steer for 13,000.
The word "we" pretty liberally there.
Yeah, there was some, the rules changed too with that COVID money, which kind of looked like it loosened it up for us
Yeah.
somewhat, but there's more rules coming ahead.
Yeah, we gotta do it before they change too much again.
Should.
Let's hurry up and give it back to the citizens when we can.
Human Services Zone, what do you got for us, Scott?
I have Mark Lundy agreed to be the at-large for the commission for Griggs County. Because, you know, Steph, we have to just have one, you know, for each county now, a commissioner.
Correct, yeah.
So, Mark agreed to do it for us. So do I make a motion to I know we need a motion to approve it, I know that. Appoint them.
Yep.
So I'll make a motion to approve Mark Lundy as the Eastern Zone Commissioner at Large, I would call it, position for
No.
Griggs County.
No, not a commissioner.
Yeah.
I mean,
At-large representative.
at-large representative, sorry, correct.
Motion by Scott to nominate Mark Lundy as our representative on the Human Services Board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barred none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Old courthouse, new courthouse.
I don't got anything.
Nothing. Future business, we're gonna roll the employee manual and the holiday Juneteenth till the next time we have all 5 of us present. Is there any other future business?
There was something I was thinking about, but I'll bring it up next meeting.
Do you want it on the agenda for the next meeting?
No,
Okay.
no. Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion by Mark to adjourn, is there a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
Seconded by Scott. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Motion adjourned at 3:19. Next meeting is February 3rd and February 17th at 2:30 p.m. in this room. Thank you, everyone.